Hello, welcome back. In question 32, a fair die is tossed once. What is the probability of obtaining either an even number or a prime number? Well, the probability of obtaining an even number when you toss a fair die, the sample space is actually 6. That is, you can only get values from 1 to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Those are the possible values that you have when you toss a fair die. Now, the probability of obtaining an even number is what? We have how many even numbers? We have 1, 2, and 3. We have 3 even numbers. That means 3 over 6, and that's 1 over 2. That's the probability of obtaining an even number. Now, the question says the probability of obtaining an even number, either an even number or a prime number. So what's the probability of obtaining a prime number? We have the prime numbers 2, 3, and 5. We also have 3 prime numbers. That would mean that the probability of also obtaining a prime number is 3 over 6, which is 1 over 2. However, for this particular question, they are not mutually exclusive. What do I mean? The even numbers that we have are 2, 4, and 6, right? While the prime numbers that we have are 2, 3, and 5. So you can say that they are not mutually exclusive. We have a particular number that belongs to the 2. So in such cases, you are going to solve it just like a set problem. It's going to be like probability of A intersection B, A union B rather. Probability of A union B is the sum of the probability of A, probability of B, minus the probability of A intersection B. So in this case, the probability of A intersection B is just 1 over 6 because we have just one number in common, which is this 2. That's what we have in common. So that means the correct answer to the question is 1 over 2 plus 1 over 2 minus 1 over 6. And that's going to give us 5 over 6 when you simplify. And that's option A. In the second question, the question says the probability of Mary passing an exam is 2 over 3. If Mary takes 3 examinations, what is the probability that she will not pass any of them? Well, the probability that Mary passes is 2 over 3. And the probability that she will not pass, that is, the probability that she fails, is 1 minus 2 over 3. And that's 1 over 3. So if the probability of an event happening is A, the probability of it not happening is 1 minus A. So the question now says, what is the probability that she will not pass any of them? That would mean that she did not pass the first one, she did not pass the second one, and she did not pass the third one, which is 1 over 27, option D. Question 34. Find the quadratic equation whose roots are -3 and -2 over 3. Well, this is quite simple. So, if the root of an equation is -3, that means x is -3, right? So you're going to express this value in form of x plus 3 equals to 0. So you're going to express it like this. Then that's for the first one. The second root is x equals to -2 over 3. So you can actually just cross multiply. Like in this first, okay, let me just come again. Like, how did I get this? Let me start all over again. If x is equals to -3, because we are told that they are the root of the equation, so we can say x is -3 and x is -2 over 3. So if x is -3 and I want to bring 3 to where there is x, that means x plus 3 equals to 0. That is, there will be nothing left on the right hand side, that's 0, and -3 has come to the other side to become plus 3. So that's how I got x plus 3 equals to 0. So in this case, we are going to actually cross multiply since we have a fraction. That means 3x minus 2. 3x equals to minus 2. 3x equals to minus 2. Then we can now say 3x plus 2 equals to 0. So this and this is what we are going to work with. That is x plus 3, then 3x plus 2 equals to 0. So if you expand, you will have 3x squared plus 2x plus 9x plus 6 equals to 0. 3x squared plus 11x plus 6 equals to 0. Option C. The answer is option C. Another way to go about this kind of question is to use the formula. The equation is equal to x squared minus sum of roots x plus product of roots equals to 0. The formula for a quadratic equation. So the sum of roots is minus 3 plus minus 2 over 3. And that will give me minus 3 minus 2 over 3. And that's minus 9 minus 2 over 3. And that's negative 11 over 3. The product is minus 3 multiplied by minus 2 over 3. 3 here will cancel 3 here. Minus will multiply minus to give us plus. So that means we have the product to be 2. So now let's substitute both the sum and the product. That would be x squared minus 11x over minus 11 over 3. Let me not jump. Minus 11 over 3 x plus product of roots, which is 2, equals to 0. So that would be, when you expand this bracket, when you simplify it, it is going to be x squared plus 11x over 3 plus 2 equals to 0. So it is also equals to, when you multiply all through by the denominator or the LCM of the denominator, but since we have just one denominator here, we are multiplying all through by 3. That means 3x squared plus 11x plus 6 equals to 0, because 3 times 0 is still 0. So the value we got here is also what we got when we use the first method. For question 35, we are asked to make y the subject of the formula. So z equals to square root of x over m minus n over y. Now, subject of the formula is basically about simplifying. So we want to simplify the expression till we make y the subject of the formula. And it is quite simple. The first step you have to take is to get rid of the square root. And how do we do that? We simply square both sides. So the square of z is z squared, and the square of this expression, this square is going to cancel this square root. So that means z squared equals to x over m minus n over y. Well, my y is still not standing alone. So let's say I bring y, this expression right here, I bring it to the left hand side. So that would be n over y. It is no longer going to be minus n over y, because it is now on the left hand side. So equals to x over m, which is initially on the right hand side, before I now bring z squared to meet it. Now, my y is still not standing alone, but I can simplify the expression on my right hand side by making it a single fraction. Please do not cross multiply at this point. You cannot cross multiply until you have a single expression on either side of the equation that you want to cross multiply. So you cannot cross multiply n with just m. So n over y equals to, actually z squared is the same thing as z squared over 1. So the LCM of m and 1 is m. So m divided by m is 1. 1 times x is x, right? M divided by 1 is m. So z squared times m is z squared m. Now that I have a single fraction on either side, then I can cross multiply. So if I cross multiply, I will have mn equals to y into x minus z squared m. You know, if I should now use y to expand the bracket, that's quite unwise of me, because that means I'm no longer simplifying it. So rather than using y to expand the bracket, why not just make y the subject of the formula by dividing both sides by the coefficient of y, not actually the coefficient, because this is an expression on its own. So if we divide both sides by x minus z squared m, we are going to have mn over x minus z squared m equals to, y into x minus z squared m all over x minus z squared m. So this expression will cancel this expression. That means on my right hand side, I now have just y, which means I have made y the subject of the formula. The answer is option C, mn over x minus z squared m. For question 36, find the standard deviation of 2, 5, 9, 2, and 7. Well, we don't have a table. I'm saying we don't have a table because we have different formulas for standard deviation. We have the formula summation f into x minus the mean squared all over summation f. We have summation x squared over n minus summation x over n squared. And we have summation x squared over n minus the square of the mean. So in this case, we are actually going to use this third formula because that's what we actually need. We have just 5 values. So I'm going to clean the remaining 2 formulas. The mean is 2 plus 5 plus 9 plus 2 plus 7 over 5. This is going to give me 25 over 5, and that's 5. Now, we need to calculate summation x squared. That is the square of each of those numbers, the sum of it. Summation x squared is simply going to be 2 squared plus 5 squared plus 9 squared plus 2 squared plus 7 squared. And that's 4, 25, 81, 4, 49. When you press this on the calculator, you will get 163. So that means I can now find the standard deviation, which is square root of summation x squared gave me 163. N is 5 because I have 5 numbers, minus the square of the mean. The mean is 5 and the square of the mean is 5 squared. So that's going to give us 163 divided by 5 is 32.6 minus 25. So the square root of this, that would be 7.6. The square root of 7.6 is 2.7568, which is equivalent to or approximate to 2.76. Option D. Please, you can see that option C is actually similar to option D, so please be careful when you have questions like this. For question 37, the universal set U is a set of integers x such that 0 is less than x and x is less than or equals to 10. So if 0 is less than x, that means x is greater than 0. And at the same time, x is less than or equals to 10. That means x can be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 till you get to 10. Let me even write it in full, because we actually need to write it in full. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So this is my universal set. Now, what is B complement? If B is this set, that is, X is a member of the universal set, but X is not divisible by 3. So that means the elements that are not divisible by 3 from the universal element, they are 0, 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8, and 10. So B complement is simply going to be the numbers that you did not write when you are writing B, and that's simply 3, 6, and 9. So in fact, from the question, it is quite direct. If the elements in B are numbers that are not divisible by 3, that means B complement is simply numbers that are divisible by 3 and are in the universal set, and that's simply 3, 6, and 9. Option A. We do not have 3, 6, 9, but we have 9, 6, 3, so that's still option A. For question 38, we're asked to find the median of these numbers. Well, that's quite easy. We only have to arrange the numbers in ascending or descending order. So the smallest of the numbers is 7, if we have to arrange in ascending order, followed by 8. Let me not separate it with commas so that we'll not confuse it with 1. Followed by 10, 12, another 12, 14, 16, another 16, another 16, then 20. So the middle numbers there are 2 actually. The middle numbers are 12 and 14. That is when you count from both sides. So after counting 7, you count 20, 8, 16, 10, 16, 12, 16. So you can see that we are left with 2 numbers. So in such cases, we are going to add the 2 numbers and divide it by 2. So that's 26 over 2, which is 13. So the median is 13, option B. Question 39. A man stood at a distance of 24 meters away from the foot of a tower. So let's assume this is the tower, and that means this will be the foot of the tower. The man is standing 24 meters away from this foot. So this is where the man is. This is 24 meters. This is the foot of the tower we are talking about, which is 32 meters high. That is, the tower is 32 meters high. Find the angle of elevation of the top of the tower to the nearest degree. Well, this is quite a simple one. This is where the angle of elevation will be. Let's represent it with theta. So to find theta, we can say that we have the adjacent and the opposite side. That means we are going to apply tangent. Tan theta is opposite, which is 32 over 24, which is the adjacent. That means tan theta equals to, when you divide this, you get 1.3333. You only need 4 significant figures. So that means theta is arctan 1.333, and that's going to give us 53.12 degrees. When you approximate 53.12 degrees to the nearest degrees, you will get 53, option B. For question 40, we are asked to factorize this expression. Mere looking at the expression, I can see that there are difference of 2 squares. That is, the first expression is the square of a number. The second expression is a square of, let me not say number, is the square of something. So x squared is the square of x, and 9y squared is the square of 3y. Because when you multiply 3y by 3y, you get 9y squared. So these two expressions, this x and 3y, is just simple. Just write that x and 3y, x, 3y, x, 3y. So make one an addition and the other one subtraction. So the difference, this is the principle we applied. The difference of two squares rather, is the product of its sum and difference. So say for example, you are asked to evaluate or simplify 7 squared minus 25 squared, minus 5 squared rather, minus 5 squared. It is simply 7 and 5. 7 and 5. One is addition, one is subtraction. So 7 plus 5 is 12. 7 minus 5 is 2, and that's 24. So it applies to numbers, it applies to variables, as long as they are difference of two squares. For question 41, n varies inversely as the square root of m. N varies inversely as the square root of m. Square root of m. Let me interpret again. N varies inversely as the square root of m. Now, when we want to change this proportionality sign into an equation, into an equal to sign, we are going to introduce a constant. That means n equals to k multiplied by 1 over root m, which means that n equals to k over root m. This is the relationship. If n is 5, n is 5 when m is 9. So let's substitute into this expression. That is 5 equals to k, which is our constant of proportionality, all over square root of m, which is 9. That means 5 equals to k over 3. That would mean that k equals to 5 times 3, which means that k is 15. So if k is 15, we can now substitute k into the expression. That is n equals to 15 divided by root m, which is option C.